looks very much like a something kind of alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, like a tall boy beer.
Yes.
That's what I like about it, because I never drank before, so it makes me not look like a pussy.
You don't drink, no?
I've never drank. Straw. I used to bartend when I did mixology. They would make us test. So that's the most I ever had. Is like literally drunk. No, it doesn't seem fun. It can be. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it is. You've seen it. I've seen some people have some good times. All right. We're here. What's going on, D-Bags? Hope you guys are doing well. We're back here again with another episode of the dtalks podcast, episode 168 to be specific. I'm your host, Darren Rita. Feel free to connect with me at any of the links down below. And if you're new here and you enjoy music, podcasts, comedy, or hooping videos, do consider subscribing because we've got a whole lot of that going on around here. And when you do subscribe, leave a like, comment, hang out with us in the live chat, all that good stuff. It helps us share conversations and laughs like these with more people. So do consider doing that. Now, before I can get into today's episode and introduce you guys to my guest today, I got to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance these days. It seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on your car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has been specializing for years in simple, hassle-free car insurance using the latest in touch-free technology to help you and your family get the best rates. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 448-4141. The website's kenoshains.com. It's on the screen right now. It's also linked down below. Give them a call. Tell them D-Rita dtalks sent you. The worst that can happen is you will get the best rates. Now, with all that good stuff out of the way, I'm pumped to be kicking with my guest this week. He used to be my boss. Now he's just a homie. And he has a spider. So let's give a wet dtalks welcome to Matt Bell. He's here in the building.
Hello.
How are you? Thank you for being here.
I'm fabulous.
You didn't bring the spider.
I thought about it. I really did.
I was actually torn on it. I was like, I kind of hope he does. And then another part of me was like, I don't know if I'd be able to focus the whole interview if he does.
She's not that scary.
How big is the spider for people that don't know? Like if you hold up your palm, how big?
They're measured by their diagonal leg length. Mm-hmm. And right now she's probably as big as my palm.
Can you put that up to the camera so they can see that? Look at that. That's a scary spider.
She's feisty.
If you saw that, like if you woke up and you saw that like the corner of your room,
then that would be scary. She's actually scared the living shit out of me a few times. Mm-hmm. But that's her nature. I mean, she doesn't fucking care about anything.
Does she ever get out of like the cage terrarium thing?
No, she is not one. There's a lot of people that will handle them. Mm-hmm. She is not one that you would ever be able to handle.
She'll fuck you up?
Yes. You won't die. She will not. No tarantula will kill you. Mm-hmm. Because she's a new world, so there's different old world and new world. Old worlds are generally very venomous, like more venomous, because that's their main defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Versus new world spiders, which is North America, South America, they have these things called urticating hairs. Think of it as like fiberglass, and that's their defense. So they'll kick those hairs at you,
flick those off their legs, right?
Which means that they don't have to have as a potent a venom. For the most part, there's a couple in South America, I guess, that have more potent venom.
So what are those do those big tarantulas that they use in movies that are always walking all over the actors, are those like, what kind of...
Those, like
the big orange fuzzy?
Yeah, so those are, they're actually known for being used in movies a lot. Some Mexican, I think it's either a fire leg or there's a whole bunch of there's a lot of tarantulas in Mexico.
Yeah.
So... a lot of them have that red, black, that pattern.
Are they less venomous? Is that why they use them?
They're less venomous. I think they're just easier to handle. Some of those are... That's just how they are. They're not aggressive. Give me
a pay bump if I'm in a movie and they want to put a couple of those on me, because I don't know.
I've never handled one, so I don't know. I got Petunia.
That's the name of your spider.
Her name is Petunia. Yes.
Petunia.
She's a female. Petunia.
Okay.
I think Petunia means like death flower or something,
really?
Which I didn't know at first. I just thought it was a
sounds like name. A really...
I thought it was a cute
soft
name.
Yeah, like a cute name.
I was going for irony.
Yeah.
But
turns out it fits.
Yeah, I guess so.
Has she ever gotten you?
She did get me. I have a scar on my hand from an injury, and she got me right on top of the scar.
Oh.
But I never experienced any... I don't know if any venom actually went in me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so fast that I almost didn't know it happened. I only knew it happened because I saw 2 little puncture marks on my hand.
Wow.
So I was feeding her, and she had actually run up the tongs, got me, and then ran right.
So you feed your pet tarantula. Is it a tarantula?
It is a tarantula.
Okay,
yes.
You feed your tarantula with tongs.
Yes.
What is at
it's
the end of the
basically
tong?
big giant tweezers.
Okay, so you come in here with these fucking tweezers, right? These giant tongs.
Yep.
And what's at the end of it?
What's at the end of it
Yeah.
is, I mean, just they look like regular tweezers, and so the end of it is just this rounded thing.
What I'm saying, what is the thing
what
eating? What are you feeding it?
What do I feed her?
Are you holding like a live something?
Yes, she won't eat anything dead. They have to kill. That's just how it works.
Isn't that kind of cheating though? If you're holding it,
kind
fucking alive.
Well,
right
the
there?
thing about tarantulas is most of the time
if it's a pride thing for them, that feels like
they don't actually hunt in the true sense of the word. They're ambush predators. So if I put it way over here, she'll just sit over there and won't do anything. It has to be like in her vicinity. They detect their world through motion. So the hairs that I was talking about, that's their sensory. Like that's how they feel the world around them, because their eyesight it's not like human beings.
So they're lazy as fuck.
They're kind of lazy, but once they get going, like I've seen her move so fast. They say they teleport.
Yeah.
Which basically they're right here and they move so fast they appear over here.
That's like those little jumping spiders. I swear to God, they have like lag
it's
switches.
faster than your eye can respond.
Yeah.
So to say that she's lazy, I don't know about that. She's
very specific when she chooses to exert herself. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah. That's like you'll see them walking. She'll like lift her arms and be like feeling, and other times she'll move really quick.
So what's wrong with dogs or cats?
I can't have those kind of pets where I live. My landlord said no pets. I'm not actually supposed to have her either.
Damn.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't know how that would. Yeah. I just people kind of not saying. Well, yeah, maybe you a little bit. You scare me when you seek these kind of pets out. Like when dogs and cats are right there. That like
I did not set out to get a tarantula. It was suggested to me to get a pet.
Okay.
Because at the time I was going through some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I originally was going to look into a gecko.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, well, let's find geckos. So a lot of these animals they're sold as exotic pets.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking, I'm like, oh shit, tarantula. Now I'm afraid of spiders. So maybe this will be like some sort of, it'll help me somehow to get over that kind of thing.
You took it as like a personal development chance.
Yes. So that's what I'm telling you. But the other aspect is they require almost no care at all.
Okay.
Like you could have a plastic houseplant that requires more upkeep than some tarantulas.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Some of them have been known to just sit and not move for like up to 2 years.
How much you have to pay for this thing to fucking be a literal rock? They sell that too. You can buy pet rocks. They sell that now.
It's the same thing. It's certain species. They don't all do it. No one knows why they do it. I don't know the attraction to that specific species, but some people do keep it.
Damn, they could just sell you a dead one and you wouldn't even know.
They could, or like what I sell it in my area.
That's
at my job, like a fake spider.
Oh yeah. They could. It's just, I guess maybe a cat would maybe kill me if it could. I think
a big enough cat.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
I've seen some videos of cats that are like.
But I don't, not in the same way that maybe a tarantula would, if it given any opportunity.
Right.
Like where it thought it could.
I don't think a tarantula would intend. There are some species like, so I follow a guy. It's called the Dark Den.
That sounds scary.
He has a YouTube. He's all about like, I think he actually has a pet store maybe online. I forget his specifics, but he has a lot of old world tarantulas. So like mean ones. Like there is one called I think it's a Thailand black.
Yeah.
That will fuck you up beyond belief.
Okay.
It won't kill you. No one's ever died from a tarantula bite, but you'll.
No one's ever died from a tarantula bite?
Nope. No one has no recorded deaths specifically from a tarantula bite. But
Yeah, so
people have been fucked up beyond belief. Like there are certain ones that if they bite you, their venom, you'll be in excruciating electric lightning pain for like months.
Jesus Christ. That's kind of crazy that no one's ever died from one. That's why I thought we were so scared
recorded
of them.
deaths. I'm sure at some point somebody on the brink of death has been bitten by something that sent him over the edge somewhere in the world, but no recorded deaths as far as I know.
Because there's some big motherfuckers, right? Don't some of them catch birds?
They're called bird eaters. I don't know that. It's kind of a myth. I think it's one of those things. There's a myth that they don't actually kill birds. They're capable of it, and I'm sure there's been instances
it's happened,
it's
but
happened.
it's not like what they do regularly.
There's a famous video on YouTube of a bird eater dragging, I believe it's a possum, and they recorded it, and it's a small possum, but it's basically dragging it into the undergrowth to eat it.
That's so scary, dude.
Yes, it happens. Those are actually some of the ones that are not their venom is, again, they say it's not medically significant. So it'll hurt really bad because their fangs are like
huge,
gigantic. So like it's gonna physically hurt. Sorry.
So do you ever watch that Coyote Peterson guy?
I have.
He gets his shit wrecked all the time.
Yep.
He's so nice to those animals, though.
He is. I mean, well, he's a entomologist, I think.
Whatever he's trained. I know he's got some qualifications.
It's his profession, basically. Yeah.
It'll be like a wasp, and it'll fucking sting him. And he's
I've
like, okay, let me hold it now and take care of it as it's fucking stinging me. And I'm gonna put it back now. And he's like being so gentle as his whole fucking arm is about to fall off. It seems.
I've watched his he has a top 10 most painful bites or 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I forget what the top one is. But that one was fun. Like watching him.
What was the pain like for this bite that you got from your spider?
I didn't feel a thing.
It was it just really nothing? And
I didn't feel it. I suspect that if she had, like, it was almost like a bang, gone.
Maybe it was like a love tap. Maybe she actually likes you.
No, they can't experience that. They do not have that brain function.
Damn.
So she'll live to be almost 20 years old. Some of them will live to be, I guess, up to 40 years old. So the females can live a long time. But they don't. She'll never recognize me.
Really?
Yes. Like it's just they're not like they can't develop a attachment because they do not have those.
It's not in there.
It's not.
It's not in there.
Those organs don't.
That's
exist.
what I'm saying. I guess that's what I was kind of getting to with like. You know, dogs and cats
How
are
can I
right
be
there.
attached to
Dogs
it
and
if
cats are right there. They're fine animals to have that will love you back.
Yep.
And you know, they'll recognize you. They'll come lay on you.
Yep.
Lay with you. Be excited to see you.
Yes.
And this thing
will never do that ever.
Doesn't even maybe know that you exist. Other than when you're holding the tongs.
the sensing me as a presence. Yes. For me though, there's another side to that. It's so my spider is a green bottle blue. She's from, I believe it's
green bottle blue. That sounds like a cool liqueur.
That's like the common name. The actual name I believe is Chromatopelma cyana pubescens. Is her?
I like your name, your first name better.
It's way easier to say. It has to do with her coloring. So the top of her carapace is like a beer bottle green. The rest of her will be like a cobalt blue, and then her butt is like red. So
that's kind of sick.
It is. That's a lot. A lot of people get them because they like the coloring or they're unique, whatever.
Yeah,
but
new Fortnite skins.
Yes. Tattoo.
Yeah.
But her being a wild animal, she'll always be a wild animal. Like I would never be able to experience seeing something wild like she is. In
like they're incapable of domestication, right?
Yes,
like you could take a wolf and raise it, and it would be a dog.
Yep.
But this cannot happen.
Right. But that's the draw, is like it's a pure wild thing that I'm able to observe and appreciate. Damn. And that's the other side of it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It always freaks me out when people got like lizards and fucking, and I've known a lot of people that do, and a lot of cool people that have had them, but it still freaks me out. Like I never am like they're always like, you want to pet it? I'm like, get it the fuck away from me.
I think there's a lot of, especially with spiders, and one of the reasons I was afraid of them, because if you look at a close-up of like a spider's face, they don't really have a face. It's so foreign from anything even resembling human. Yeah. That it's a primordial, whatever thing. It's like, it's your instinct as a human being to be afraid of something like that.
Because it's an alien.
Right. It's not, it doesn't register. It's like you're talking about your primal brain fears and fight or flight, that kind of thing. So being afraid of spiders, when you have one like that, you get used to them, you appreciate them for the creatures that they are, and I think they're amazing, I
Yeah.
guess. That when you the fear goes away or it
Yes, that's
lessens.
fair, yeah.
So I still have a healthy fear of her capabilities.
You still understand what she can do, yeah.
Oh yeah. She like I said, she scared the shit out of me. Just the other day, I was feeding her, and I normally wait till she's on the bottom of her enclosure, and I can just drop something in, and she'll nab it instantly. She was actually crawled up on the side of her enclosure, and so I opened it up, and she immediately ran to the top, and I was sitting in my desk chair, and I pushed it back all the way back, and I flew across my office, and I ran into a table with all my stuff on it because I was so like she moved so fast. It was almost an automatic response for me.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck going
like,
on? Yeah.
I did that, and I basically flew across the room.
Man, what if she got out?
I would have a very hard. People make these things called catch cups.
So you have one?
I don't. So that's the thing. If she got out,
Jesus Christ,
that would be a very bad day.
Then yeah, your landlord would be like, maybe we should allow fucking cats. You know?
Yeah. Well, I honestly, I'm more concerned about like I would actually damage her trying to capture her. Like, you know, I paid a lot of money for her too, so there's that.
How much does a spider like that cost?
I bought her as I think basically a sub adult. She was like almost $300.
Damn.
But I've seen them for sale depending on the rarity species. There was a shop online that I think they were charging like $5,000 for an adult of some kind of super rare
Jesus Christ
genre.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to me. You want to take this thing? You told me about this. You're floating the idea around taking this thing skydiving with you.
I thought about it. I had an idea and everything.
I think like that would be pretty interesting.
If could I have been the first person to skydive with their tarantula?
I think so.
I was thinking like a bubble wrap, put her in her little container because they ship them out in deli cups.
Oh, okay.
So because they don't really require space.
Yeah.
Really, they just don't view it the same way we do. So take the deli cup.
Okay.
Wrap that in like bubble wrap, and then tape that all together with tape,
and then put that on like a baby thing in front of you,
something like that, or even just kind of like hanging off the side. So like, cause I don't know how skydiving normally works, but don't you like
you land?
You hit the ground.
They try to get you to land on your feet,
right?
But it's you have somebody on.
Yeah, like
back.
If you're doing a tandem,
they're not gonna let you go by yourself,
right? Oh, I wouldn't. Not with the spider. Fuck that.
Yeah, no. They might. Man, what if the spider got out mid-flight?
That would probably be the last.
She fucked your instructor up.
I don't think I would be invited back. I probably wouldn't get a refund. I would be. Oh.
Unless you figured out how to do the rest.
I didn't think about that. I'd have to watch like Point Break like 50 times before I went to figure it out.
You have to do some fucking research. That'd be crazy. Do you think this is something I saw somebody tweet a while back, and it got me thinking? Do bugs or spiders, maybe more so specifically since you know so much about them, do they take fall damage?
No, spiders are very delicate. That's one of the things when you're building an enclosure for a tarantula specifically, is like it's the dirt and everything you put in there is called the substrate. You want to have enough on there so that they did take a fall, it wouldn't be a lot of damage because they're delicate.
Oh, so they do, because that's what you ever like flick an ant. You ever get an ant on table? You
like
flick it,
yeah, I think
and you
it's
flick
different.
it, and it flies, and it smacks against on the ground, and you're like, wow, for me that would have been like 30 miles. And he just gets up me walking.
Right. I think it's different for them because tarantula is bigger, they're heavier, and they're like they can't really get injured. They'll die. Right. So you can't take a tarantula to the pet hospital or whatever and be like, hey, can you fix my tarantula? It doesn't work that way. If they get an injury, like a lot of bugs, it's how a lot of pesticides and like certain things work when you're trying to get rid of insects is if they get a cut on their outside, then they start leaking their fluids and that's it. They're done.
They just decide to die if they just can't repair.
I don't know how they.
Damn.
I mean, I'm sure they're not happy about it.
No, yeah.
But I wouldn't be.
It just always confused me because it's not even just ants. It's other shit too. Like you flick a ladybug, it's something, bro, and they just they're fine. I'm like, you just flew hundreds of miles.
Well, it's like when I was a kid, I used to take grasshoppers and I would like rip their legs off.
That's
and they
so
would
sad.
I know. It was wrong. I'm sorry.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Or I would feed them to spiders.
I guess you're just speeding up.
Everyone's got to eat.
Yeah.
So
that's fucking. You ever get sad when you see this? Would make me sad sometimes. I would see one spider, like, taking out a couple of ants, and he'd be winning, but then like 30 more ants would show up. He'd get fucked up. Sometimes I'd get sad. It's like that like warrior's pride thing. Like, look at man, he had something going there, and struggled. It took 30 of you guys, and then he dies.
I've never seen that. What I always felt bad about was like you're walking in your basement, and I would see like a spider in the corner, and I'd be like, "Oh man, you're never gonna catch anything in that corner," and I know it. And I'd be like, "You're gonna starve to death," and I know you're never gonna. And I honestly would feel bad.
Yeah. I should tell them that there's this family of them, this whole lineage of them that's in my fucking shower. It'll be this like it's not a daddy long legs, it's the other one that looks like it's got the long legs but a little different build in like the body.
Okay.
You know, the daddy long legs is like just a circle.
Yeah, there's different kinds.
Or whatever. Maybe it's a similar cousin or something. Those fucking long legs, and it'll be in there, and eventually it won't be there, and there'll be little baby ones, like 2 or 3 little baby ones in each corner, and then they'll get big. And then they're gone for a couple of days, this little one. And then it's just, and I'm like, dude, you guys are just being alive long enough to die because there's nothing in this fucking basement shower.
Right. No,
there's nothing here.
And that was a concern. I mean, it's like, so like mayflies, I think they're called. They literally live for like hours before they die. Their whole life cycle is just to.
Those are the ones with the prongs on their back.
Like the wings that stick straight up.
Yeah.
Their whole reason for being is just to reproduce, so that something else can live for a few hours, reproduce. Like. They have no
purpose. Well, yeah. What do they do with that?
They're food for other animals, maybe.
That's so
like
lame.
they're basically insect cattle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn.
But I still feel bad for them. Yeah.
Yeah. That really sucks. So, damn. So you've learned a lot about bugs then.
I've researched.
Having this spider has kind of put you down that wormhole.
Yep.
Did you know a bunch before then, or no? This is just kind of
not really. I used to watch a lot of like nature shows when I was a kid because I wasn't really allowed to watch a lot. The cult thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to it. I guess.
You were in a cult. Growing
was
up.
I?
Maybe.
We could discuss it.
It sounded like you maybe were. You mentioned this before. So, like I said, we'll get into you were my boss at one point. But before then, we were coworkers, and then you were my boss. Now we're homies.
Did you work there before I was your...
Yes, right before.
Right before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So, and I remember we were talking one time, and you were explaining some stuff that...
I remember exactly where it was.
Yeah.
We were up front by Bullseye.
Yes.
That place.
We were up front at the front of a store.
Yeah.
And you were working there, and I was working there, and it's got to talking about Star Wars.
Yep.
And you were not supposed to go see Star Wars as a young lad.
So one of the things that they had at the time, one of the rules was
this church, one of the church's rules.
They did not want us or the people who are members of the church giving money or influence to like Hollywood and things like that. So basically the rule was no one's allowed to go to the theater and see movies.
So you could see movies, but just not at a movie theater?
I don't know if it was any more specific than don't give money, don't go out and see movies.
Interesting.
I don't know
Did they give a reason, or it was just because we don't like Hollywood?
I think it was... Again, I was so young that I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah.
All I really remember is you're not supposed to do it because it's like giving undue influence,
that's not God, and you're being influenced by that.
If it's distracting you from God, it's bad. Is the overall. So especially if it was like a popular movie, like, oh, that's so popular, everyone's going. Yeah. Well, no, we're not supposed to follow what everyone does. We're supposed to, you know what I mean? So Star Wars, obviously, it actually wasn't Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. It was the only one I actually was ever old enough to see in the theater. Damn. And I am also sad to report that I did not see the Star Wars movies in order originally.
Okay, so you saw Return of the Jedi first?
I saw Return of the Jedi before I saw any other ones. So
interesting.
Askew. I never the whole Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader
twist,
thing.
Yeah.
The twist. I didn't get to experience that.
You already knew. Because of Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I missed out.
That sucks. I kind of already knew too when I saw it because I was showing them years and years later.
I think though the benefit though is that I was so young that I didn't really understand what a twist was in a movie. So I didn't really realize until I was an adult that I really missed out on a cultural.
That was a moment.
Moment.
That was a big moment when that happened. But so you went to go see Star Wars though, even against.
Yes. So wishes. My family decided that it was a very popular movie. Obviously, being a young kid. I was into like the action figures and all that stuff. So it was probably, now that I think about, mainly just don't go see it at the theaters, but in your own home.
You think your parents were like, we need to give this kid something?
I think it was kind of something like that. Like, yeah, there's the rules, and we're supposed to follow the rules, but we're gonna go break this one because, I think a part of them knew that it was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
It's a stupid rule.
Right.
We could God still loves us if we go see a movie.
Right.
We can go see a movie.
God is love and forgives.
Yeah.
So we go and we see the movie, and so 1983.
Damn.
How old was I? Was it 83 or 82? I want to say it was 83.
I thought it was Return of the Jedi. Yeah. It would have been
Jedi.
That sounds about right. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I know Empire is 80. Original was 77 because it was just literally a year before I was born.
Damn.
And then 83 was however old I was.
You were like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, I'm 44 now. I'm not going to do the math. Maybe you can.
So you were there.
I was there. And so as a small child, I was very excited about things.
Mm-hmm.
So the story is, as I remember it, I was running up and down the aisles, fighting back against the storm, like shooting back at the
Damn,
screen.
You were like getting into it at the theater.
Yeah. So
was this your first time at a movie?
It may have been. I don't think so, but I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Okay.
The only other movies I remember seeing as a kid were like Disney cartoon movies.
Okay.
So let's assume it was my first movie.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea, given all the circumstances, to take me to that first movie since I loved it, all that stuff so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running up and down the aisles. I do know that my aunt had to grab me and hold me down.
Wow.
As it was going on, and the story that she tells me is that she has never felt anyone's heartbeat through their back before.
Jesus
But
Christ.
I was so excited that apparently that's what she was like. Yeah, I felt your heart beating a million miles a minute through your back.
You loved the Ewoks beating the shit out of the stormtroopers.
Yeah. It was more like, I always remember we used to call them the chicken leg things.
That's what you call
the
them?
AT-ATs.
Oh, the AT-ATs.
AT-ATs. Sorry. That's the two-legged guys.
Yeah, the AT-ATs.
They're like, the chicken walkers. And I love that shit. So everyone loves the Empire more than the Rebels, I think.
Their shit's cooler looking,
it is,
for sure.
Like masks. It's like G.I. Joe. Like everyone likes Cobra more than G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Those movies, I heard, the new ones have done bad.
I saw the first two, and
they're just kind of...
It's not what I remember. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes when they remake a movie, it just gets ruined.
That's fair. Yeah, I could see that. But so you were your heart is beating out of your back.
Heart was
aunt's
beating out
holding
of
you
my
back.
back.
The movie the end credits roll.
Yep, we end the movie, and so we're coming out of the theater, and it was my mom and dad, probably my older sister. I don't know if my older brother was there or not, and my aunt. And we're walking out, and we run into another family from the church who was doing the exact same thing. And this family was the pastor of the church. So one of the writers of the rule.
Damn.
And yeah. So I was so young. I don't know if words were said, or I think it may have just been like greetings and all that, and everyone was kind of like pretending that
we didn't just do what the fuck we just did.
Yes, is what I think. So yeah, it's amazing what people will do after they've like established the rules for what other people aren't supposed to do.
Yeah,
kind of a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty. They were like, you're not allowed to go see the greatest film franchise ever, but we're gonna go see it.
Yes,
that's
so. Yeah. Or maybe it was just hey, we had to make this rule.
And these were adults, so like you got to think they were alive for the other two movies at the time.
Yep.
They got the twist.
Yep.
Because they probably went and saw those in private too. So they were out here experiencing and enjoying Star Wars, and they were like, this shit is too good.
Yep.
For you guys to handle.
Yep.
We're gonna go see the finale.
And I like to think it wasn't specifically Star Wars. I think it was just they came up with the rule because we got to keep ourselves separate from popular culture. Kind of. I don't know.
That's weird. But that's probably why that way of thinking is maybe not as popular. You're trying to completely keep them separate. But so that seems kind of culty. that they won't let you guys watch movies at a movie theater. That's a stupid.
That does
That's a
when
stupid rule.
when you word it that way. Yes, it does. It does seem kind of cultish. But
Are there any blood sacrifices you guys had to do, or
no
animals that were?
No, we had like a corn and brat roast, so somebody had to kill those sausages
That's fair.
and the corn.
Okay, so you guys kill animals. You guys sacrifice animals, and you can't go see movies.
Well,
in the
they
movie
didn't
theater.
kill the animal. Whoever manufactured the sausages,
But they're pro that
probably
happening,
the
so.
fine folks at Johnsonville.
Okay, so these people. So this church is crazy so far. That's 2 strikes against him.
When
3 strikes,
you
you're
put
a
it
cult.
that way, yes.
3
yes.
strikes, you're a cult. You got anything else?
Not that I can remember specifically.
When did you stop?
We
going?
used to have a clown.
A church clown?
Yes. So I do remember this. This is probably before the Star Wars thing. So there was a clown character, and I remember that. So our church was laid out where we had like the pews on both sides, and there was a main walkway, and then you have like the stage, and there was the pulpit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one Sunday, and I don't remember if it was related to anything. It may have just been, hey, we have a clown here for the kids, and it's somehow this is Poopsie the clown, and he's gonna read Bible stories. I don't know.
Awesome.
No offense to any
What
real
did he?
Poopsies.
What
but
did he do? Did he just
I
do balloon
all I
animals,
remember maybe
balloon crosses? Maybe
that's possible. Balloon crosses.
that'd be a pretty easy one to do, I think, compared to like a fucking animal. You know, just
Maybe.
little 2 balloons, one here, one here.
He may have come in carrying a cross.
Maybe how cool would it have been if you would have came to church that day, and like the big cross that's behind where the guy speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
If he was up there,
Poopsie's up there.
Poopsie's up there.
And he comes down.
Oh, Poopsie.
That would have been fucking crazy.
Jesus,
dude.
Poopsie the clown.
Jesus, that would have been
Jesus,
awesome.
Poopsie.
That would have been
You know?
so awesome.
But that's not the right context.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, Poopsie ran up, and I remember Poopsie ran up to the pulpit, and he just sat and laid on the ground in front of the pulpit. Like, I'm not making this up. I do remember this. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but he laid there, and there was they go through the sermon and everything, and
He's laying on the ground while you guys are doing your
like
shit?
in front of the pulpit.
Okay.
And wow, when I say it, it sounds culty.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
I probably shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
I definitely won't say the name. The church does still exist.
Okay. So what happened after? Did he
I don't remember.
just like popped up and he was like, okay.
I think it was like, and then he led the children off to like their part of the church.
That's got to be a
service.
tough gig, man, being a clown in general. But
I'm
not even
wondering
just
if-
being a clown for a fucking church.
Right.
There's a
I don't
tight-
know if Poopsie was a member of the church or not. I have to assume so, because
Yeah.
what clown would take that job,
That's right.
get
Yeah.
there and be like, holy shit, this is
It's
kind
a
of scary.
fucking cult.
I may not walk out of here.
Yeah.
I may not walk out of here. So Poopsie was most likely a member of the church.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That I always think about that too. Being a clown has got to be a tough like side gig or main gig.
My second grade teacher, her daughter was a professional clown, and one day she came in for an assembly. She came in as a regular person, and her whole assembly was her explaining like the history of clowning and all that stuff and circuses. And as she was doing it, she was slowly getting herself, putting her makeup on.
It's like that meme where have you seen that one? Oh, there's a meme where they do that.
Where they do that? Okay. And
Yeah.
maybe that's where it came from. I get the feeling that she did this more. It was like,
This sounds like this was before memes existed. So.
oh yeah, it was probably before computers existed.
So yeah, so she was explaining it.
She was
That's
explaining
crazy.
what she did as a clown as she was getting in character. And at the end of the assembly, she was a fully assembled clown.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. And did clownish
Maybe we
stuff.
got to put some more respect on clowns. I don't know.
I'm not afraid of clowns. A lot of people are afraid of clowns.
Well, I'm not afraid of them. I just don't like them. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like they're disagreeable people?
No.
What about mimes? Do you like mimes?
And I like when people make fun of them in movies.
If a mime was
That
walking
counts.
in the forest and a tree fell on that mime, would anyone care?
No.
That's an old
Somebody's dad would be happy.
joke, probably.
Like, thank God.
Somewhere,
Finally got him.
Somewhere there's a dead mime.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, being a mime, that's got to be difficult too.
I know.
How do you decide, like I could,
Maybe you don't. I have a really awesome photo of Robin Williams as a mime in, I think, Central Park before he really got famous.
really?
Yes. So I think it's more of a performance thing. Like, you got to go do mimery.
Damn.
I don't know if that's the term.
Some people just get stuck in it.
Yeah, like
It's like their temp.
There's
thing,
there's a couple famous like French guys who are professional, like they're old school. What is his name? I don't remember his name, but he's very famous, and his whole life was being a mime.
Or those guys that like the statue guys on the streets.
Oh, like the
fully like gold or fully silver, and they'll just be sitting there like this for fucking hours, and then they'll just randomly a kid will walk up and they'll be like, and then they'll, oh shit, now they're just like this for another 5 hours.
That's a hard way to make a buck.
That's what I was saying, bro.
You know,
I mean, because the thing is too, you kind of like break the whole illusion if like people, let's say like somebody's sitting there like taking a bunch of pictures and you're like, tip jars right there, like you're sitting there like this.
Yeah,
like you can't do that.
Like,
because
what if I went and started to take your tips?
You can't do shit.
Right. Well, shit. That's the other thing too. Like, what if you would have to base your whole life basically on, maybe not your whole life, but
when you're working,
what you work. Like, you couldn't have diarrhea that day.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't go out for tacos the day before because you might get diarrhea.
You got to think the people that do that gig have to have insane like discipline, control on their bowels.
Right. I mean, that's just the beginning. Like, what if you can't ever get sick? You can't have a cold.
Can't be scared of bees.
Can't be scared of bees. Tarantulas.
Tarantulas too.
You have to literally be like a Terminator.
Yeah.
In order to entertain that way.
You gotta have a switch so you can just like flip off humanity real quick and just be like, all right, I'm gonna be a statue now.
And then you have to live with the guilt of, well, if I have this kind of control over myself, maybe I should have done something more substantial.
Something that maybe could.
Maybe I could be saving lives right now.
Yeah.
But instead I'm collecting tips.
Made $30 today.
I made meth money, basically.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're a statue? That's your job. You're a statue person, and like some foul shit's going on right in front of you. Like a crime is being committed, somebody's being mugged, or even worse. You can
only be a witness.
You can't do anything.
Yep, you can't.
Because you break in whatever oath
well,
you made
you
to
have
yourself.
to. I'm sure there's a conflict in your brain. Do I stick with my craft, or do I save the?
You gotta give that shit up.
Right.
You gotta give that shit up and get a job.
Yeah,
but it's cool. It's cool. I see them, and I go like,
because all the other statues are watching you.
Oh yeah,
all they're out there like judging.
Yeah, but can they judge? You fucking spray painted your face with fucking platinum spray paint, and you're gonna stand in the same sweaty spot for 8 hours.
Well,
can you judge me for wearing whatever fucking the shit I'm wearing today? You can't.
You can't, but people do.
Yeah. It's embarrassing though. That's crazy. But being a clown in general, any of that shit, that's a hustle, and I respect the fact that they can do it. But you're not allowed to judge me.
Rodeo clowns, they do it, and that's hard work.
That's what it was, a rodeo? That's where like they ride.
Yeah, it's where they distract the bulls, so they risk being gored, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit's that's too much for me, man.
I don't think I would need to paint my face to do that job, but
no,
it's for the people.
Would you ever run in one of those bull races? Those things where they do?
Is it the bulls of?
I don't know where they do it.
It's in Italy. It's an annual thing. People die doing that.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't.
How do they decide the starting positions? Is what I want to know, because that looks.
I don't know.
I would be pretty pissed.
Don't the people start walking and running or whatever, and then they release the bulls?
Yeah, but I mean, like whenever I see it, it's always a very tight street.
Yeah,
right. There's a big.
I think
blob
that's kind of
people.
the whole point, is so the bulls can like
hit people, right? But so my thing is like, if there's like a chunk of people like this, right? And some people are in the front, and some people are in the back, and the bulls are going to come in over here behind everybody. How pissed would you be if you're in that back row of people?
I like to think that maybe they want to be there.
Just for the challenge?
Possibly. Like maybe they're suicidal, and this is the best.
Because I'm the first step I'm taking, I'm hands on the person in front of me, like that.
Backwards. Yep.
You're going down. I'm propelling myself forward.
Yep. That's like that T-shirt. If I'm in the bomb squad and you see me running, you better keep up.
That doesn't sound like a T-shirt.
I've seen it on a T-shirt.
That sounds like a scary T-shirt.
Probably.
From a terrifying Etsy shop.
Yes.
I know what. Yeah, that's got to be scary. So we've covered. You were in a cult. You got a spider.
We'll say that. Yeah.
And being a clown is a very difficult job. Now I did mention when I introduced you that you were my boss.
I was for. You were my boss
for a while, right? And we both work retail.
10 months. It was 10 months that I lasted.
That is my boss. That's fair. But you've been working retail for quite some time.
Since I was 18, I've been in that world. Off and on. So in 6 years originally, and then I took an 11-year break for a different job, and I came back in 2013 to whatever this year is.
Holy shit.
It's 2022.
Yeah.
I did know that.
I forget that it's 2022. But so you seem to enjoy retail then, or you're okay with it?
There's a part of it that, sometimes you go in and it's like, well, shit, I didn't make anything in my life. But then another part is like, well, I was probably never going to be an astronaut.
Jesus Christ.
I was probably not far off from that. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a fighter pilot, like badly. Like that's what I wanted to do. And then there was the day that you realize that those guys are all 1%ers. Mm-hmm. Like I was never born to be that caliber. Like I'm not there.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think if I put the work in, I could almost get there. But
it's an accumulation of decisions, though, I think.
Right.
I don't think that you were, like, destined to be working retail your entire life.
No, maybe not. I think I got into it, and I realized, well, this is easy, and I can get by on this, and I've never wanted to be rich.
Yeah.
So why not this?
That's fair.
And there's a part of it where you're almost, like, in love with the problems that come with it. Like, they're kind of predictable, because in retail, everything is just repetitive. You're doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
But there's a conflict with, well, I'm not actually using my brain doing this, because like literally a rock could do my job.
Yeah. I mean, soon a robot will be doing it, so
it already is in some instances. Yeah. So
I've seen some Walmarts that have
like the scanners.
They've got the droid that drives through, and it's got the scanner on both sides taking inventory for 1-for-1s.
Yep.
It just can't pull the 1-for-1s yet.
Nope. No,
but it'll tell you.
No opposable thumbs.
Yeah, it'll get there though.
I think they're working on it. They have those dogs that do backflips that are robots.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
That's for I forget the name of it, but yeah, because they designed that for
it's like DARPA stuff.
Yeah, and then they make that for like the military.
They made it for the military to carry it, and then they realized that after spending billions of dollars, that the engine needed to run it is like a lawnmower engine, and you can't really sneak up on the enemy when your robot dog is like making following. Yeah, you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
And the robot dog will be fine.
Everything it feels like every advancement we get is just came from let's figure out a better way to kill people.
It's a better way to kill people, or whatever it happens to be. We realize only after we spent trillions of dollars, billions of dollars that could have been spent on making the world a better place. That now
we can get rid of people's jobs.
Yeah.
With the same technology.
Or it's like we don't need a robot that can carry a pizza. Because I feel like they spend money on things like that too.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, they're gonna. Yeah. I know some people that like refuse to use like self checkouts. Because they're like it's phasing people out of jobs.
Yep. They don't. I know the science behind that though, because I brought that up when I was a manager.
Oh really?
Yes.
What's the science behind that?
So every self checkout at a certain place is basically they eliminate 2 cashiers.
Wow.
Yes. So I think the reason being is that, or the story I got handed or shoveled. Yeah. Sorry, I keep bumping this thing.
It's okay.
I don't know if it's like fucking up the internet or not.
No, we'll be safe. I think.
Oh, thank God. But anyway, that payroll is spent to give other people their hours. So I don't know.
That's not what happens though.
No, it's not. It's a story.
Yeah,
they tell you.
Well, it's crazy. I just remember like going to the same like my local Walmart like my whole life, and it being, I mean, there'd be so many people working there. You know, and you go to like a Walmart or you go to a Target or you go wherever, and there'd be so many people there where like there would just be somebody, it felt like, just like chilling in a section, not even like just like waiting for you to like need help.
Yes.
I've now worked retail I've not gone 2 years. It's a little over 1.5 years.
Okay.
And that is not the case.
It may be at certain places. When you're talking about a very large, like top 5 retailer, it's all about payroll because the margins are so tight and the competition is so tight. Like they can't afford. I don't know if they can afford, but the story is that payroll is so tight that you just can't have people being a greeter as their only function.
Yeah.
I can tell you that when I first was a manager years ago, at the store that I used to work at, which no longer is even open. Starts with a T.
Okay.
It should be pretty obvious.
Gotcha.
I would think to anybody watching this. But we had a team leader and an executive team leader for every single department in the store. So think of every main aisle in our store. Yes. So our management team was bigger at one point, I think, than let's say an unload team.
Yeah. Holy
or
cow.
of equal size. So over the years,
and there used
that
to
has
be,
been gradually whittled down.
Yeah, and then it used to be too for people, and for people that don't work retail, maybe won't understand. So I'll try to explain this in dumbed down terms. For like a section, let's say if you work in like a paper section, right? So you have just the aisles that are for paper, for all the toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, paper plates, shit like that. I also heard it's not like this anymore. I heard that there used to be one person who would be focused on getting product to the floor. So that means we get a truckload in, they're taking those boxes, putting them out, and then whatever is left over that doesn't fit, they would bring it to somebody else then who would backstock it all for that section.
So my experience, I started off as a let's say we'll call it a backroom team member.
Wow, that's cool.
That was their sole purpose. And I was, as management, I started off being a manager of a team of backroom people who at any given time, they would just do that stuff.
Damn, y'all was getting lit back there.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
It was good. And it was a very much us against them kind of thing. Like
front end of the store versus the back end of the store?
Yeah, that's how it was. And that was fun because we were right and they were wrong. I mean, they sucked.
Really?
Yes. At least that was the thought at the time. But,
so you've worked retail for quite a while now.
Yes.
Right? What are some of the what is been maybe some of the most ridiculous customer interactions that you've ever had working retail? Because I do think it's different. I've worked serving and stuff, and I feel like in serving, I think maybe you get quite a bit more ridiculousness because you're having to deal with people.
When it comes to food and people, they're very uptight versus just shit people are buying, products.
Especially nowadays where it's everybody kind of gets oh yeah, that's the price. I saw it online at that price. So
or if they even check it at all.
Yeah.
Most people that I interact with, not most, but a lot, I think they just come in and if it's there, they're just spending whatever it costs. I think a lot of times people don't even look at the price.
Yeah.
But yeah, craziest interactions as far as disagreeable interaction.
Anything. One time I went to a Walmart in Florida and I saw a woman with her dog. Her dog started squatting. It was squatting while walking, kind of skidding across the floor. It started to shit, and she slid fucking Apex Legends style, and tried to catch the shit with her hand. And only caught some of it. I don't know what she did with it. She just walked. There was some on the floor.
What kind of dog was it?
It's like a Doberman.
Ooh, that's not small.
No, yeah. No, and she just kept going.
Marshmallow size.
Yeah, and then immediately after that, I turned the corner. I was just trying to get a sweatshirt because I forgot to pack this one hoodie that I wanted and whatever. And I turned the corner to kind of meet up with the crew of people I was with, and I can't find them. And then I'm greeted. These two employees are walking past me real quick, and they're like, they go up to this third guy who's doing beverage or something, and he's holding a thing of water, and they're like, "Hey, bro, we got it. It's here. Trying to go back right now and smoke some of it." And I have no idea what it was, but I can guess. Probably. And this dude just fucking throws the 24-pack of water on the ground in the aisle, and then they go out.
I have been that excited for candy cigarettes, so maybe.
Okay. Yeah. But so just anything ridiculous. Could be employees, could be customers.
You were talking about you saw the dog do that.
Yeah.
I've seen instances where it was a human doing similar things.
An adult human being?
Excrementing. Shitting, if you will.
Yes, yeah.
It's all the same. Yes. So there was an old man wearing a diaper, leaky diaper. You know how sometimes old people...
Shorts on?
Nope. Pants. So sometimes old people kind of... I don't know if you know this about old people. They don't give a fuck about things.
I did know that.
Because they're old and they're going to die soon. So it's kind of that's kind of an old joke. But I think in this guy's case, he really didn't. He either wasn't aware it was happening or didn't care enough to just. He's like,
I gotta buy something. It don't matter. I gotta get this thing and get out of here.
I don't even know if he knew he was in a store. He may have just wandered in.
That's great.
It's possible.
Okay.
So he wandered in. We'll say he wandered in, and he was literally just shuffling down the aisle, and it was just leaking out
of
his pant leg.
Oh, fantastic!
And it was a combination. It was not solid. It was more like beef stew.
That's a visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No carrots, just the brown.
Carrots, just the brown. Okay.
Yes, the brown and the greenish liquid.
Wow.
So there was that.
Did you have to clean that up?
I don't remember. Well, I was a manager. I probably told someone to do it.
Oh, there you go. I was gonna say, I had a friend. He worked at Walmart for a while, and they had a guy at this certain Walmart location that he was. They ended up.
Was he the designated?
They scheduled a second janitor for a while because they were having they think it was I don't know if they thought it was somebody playing a prank on them or whatever, but it was a couple weeks straight of just shit every day. So a human being shitting in the clothing, the soft line section.
So I do have another story related to that, kind of along those lines. I don't know if it was a consistent thing at the time, but there were events every few weeks where people would come into one of the restrooms and they would literally just cover the floor in shit.
It had to be purposeful. It was done on purpose.
To quote Aliens, it was wall to wall.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you've never seen that.
I actually haven't seen Alien. I've seen a lot of the other ones.
It was wall to wall. Yeah, I like that. Anyway, but so much shit that it required buckets to clean. Buckets.
You just came in there with bleach, and you're just like, fuck.
Well, that was you had to bleach it. So the best part of the story was someone I knew at the time was in charge, and there was another executive team member that went in there, and the executive team member I think was supposed to clean it up, but they walked in and then immediately walked right out and was like, nope, and then vomited.
Oh wow.
So
that's great.
Yeah,
I could tell you what, I will quit if they try to force me to clean up someone's shit.
I don't think they technically can.
Okay.
I think I've taken the training and everyone else kind of ignored it. So I think it's actually required that a manager clean
That's
up
bodily fluid.
It's bodily fluid. The twist though is that as long as they're there, I think they can direct someone else to clean it.
Do they have to watch you do it
or participate too? It has to be a two-person. Two people have to get sick cleaning this stuff up.
Yeah.
So I've cleaned up that. I've witnessed that.
I'm sorry, bro. The fucking $15 an hour ain't not worth it, bro.
Not even when you're making more than that. I had an interaction with a kid OD'd when I was
in a retail store, one of these big retail stores.
The one I'm at now currently.
Crazy.
Yes. So I ended up knowing somebody there, used to play with their kid or whatever, and was like, oh, I recognize that dude. And so that was fun.
Where did you find this person? Are they just?
He was laying on the floor in a greeting card aisle.
Oh, okay.
Laying there, sweating like I've never seen anyone sweat. So I don't know.
Was it around the holidays or maybe Father's Day?
Nope. This was like August or so. I don't think he was specifically there to get a greeting card or a Father's Day card or anything. He didn't seem like the thoughtful type.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because on the floor ODing.
Yeah.
Maybe he was looking for a sympathy card.
Yeah, maybe.
Possible. The last time you OD'd.
That's exciting. So you pulled up. You were just were you just you're just walking through the store and you're just like, whoa,
it was
a guy
reported
there.
to me. There was a crowd of people around him, basically, and they're like, hey, you got to help this kid. And I walk over. I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I'm kind of new.
Yeah.
And the other person working, other manager, which I won't talk about, literally just clocked out and walked out.
That's legendary.
So walked by.
That's a great, that's
right. Kind of well, you could have stayed and supported, but just nope, walked out.
I'm there to do a thing.
Yeah. So I'll never forget talking to this kid a little bit because I don't think he lost consciousness or anything.
Was he just spasming or what?
He was just drooling. I remember he got drool all over my hand, and I was trying to make sure that he didn't like seize and like swallow his tongue. So we were trying to maneuver him into a position where I didn't even know if that was like something that could happen. Obviously, if you're ODing, you probably could have that happen.
Yeah.
But I remember talking to him, and it was just gibberish.
So what are you doing? You call 911, and
We
then
called
you're just
911. I
trying
think actually a customer called 911. Sorry. And they came and they basically took over and like start questioning and asking me what was going on. So you go through the process of explaining it, and then you have to, as a manager, you have to fill out like the incident report and all that stuff.
If that was my section, let's say, do I get to go home?
I think you could say that I am traumatized. Can I please leave?
Yeah.
Which is really great. I mean, that's one of the advantages of like a bad thing happening is you can spin that in your favor and get out of there.
Yeah.
If you're so inclined.
Yeah, I'd feel
maybe
not at a big retail I wouldn't feel guilty, but at like a smaller place maybe I'd
if
feel
he
bad.
died, maybe I'd feel guilty.
Do I know him?
I didn't know him. I don't think he died. He never lost consciousness.
Yeah, you
but like
take a day off.
Yeah.
Get a half.
Well, I saw a motorcycle accident when I was a kid. And
it's not good either.
Counselors and all that shit. It's the first time I ever saw someone die.
Really? Wow.
It probably affected me in some way. A therapist asked me that question once. I was like, I don't know if it affected me. It probably.
It's buried there somewhere.
Yeah,
she needed to ask, or they needed to ask.
She needed to ask. Anyway.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with this, but do you remember where I was going with this?
No, I was just trying to see if I could get the day off. Is what I was trying to see.
Oh, right, day off. So, yeah, I got to leave school early for that.
Hell yeah.
So I saw brains on pavement.
Oh, shit.
And leg twisted off, and I got to leave for the day.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I was in 6th grade. I think the entire school, everyone on the bus basically got to leave that day.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's tough. I don't really...
Death is not good.
Especially, you don't really understand it then.
I didn't. I was basically looking out the window, and I hear this bang.
God.
And I think the bang was actually the car.
You were at school?
No, I was on the way to school in the bus, and there was an intersection, and we were first in line to turn, and the car that hit the guy, he was coming through because there was no light at the intersection, just one of those blinky things. And a car pulled out in front of him, and I think the bang I heard was the what do they call that, the windscreen on his motorcycle being run over.
Oh my God.
Then I didn't see him hit, but I just saw like after he had come to a stop.
Yeah.
And
holy shit,
not pleasant.
No, that's enough. It's so scary too that young. Like I know we had there was a girl in my grade who she passed away, and when we were in 3rd grade, she got like diagnosed with cancer, like I think some brain cancer. I'm not sure if I'm remembering exactly. And I remember just like you have like your classmates, right? Where you're just like maybe you're not super super close with them, but you talk to them. You've been in groups with them.
They've always been around.
Yeah, and you don't like. That's not even a possibility. And when you hear that, and then you hear I didn't even know what cancer was. That's when I first learned what cancer was. They're like, hey, so and so's not going to be here for the next couple of weeks. They have to.
It's almost like, okay, when are they coming back?
Well, and so it was the most bizarre thing, and I never understood it until like years and years later, because so it was like then we go to 4th grade, and they would always keep a desk with this person's name tag.
Yep.
In case they came back, and we went through all of 4th grade. They never came back. And then 5th grade, like 3/4 of the year. And then all of a sudden, myself and a couple other people that kind of knew the person were like, hey, they like let us know, like, hey, this person passed away. Like, funeral is next week, this day. Like, if you guys don't want to come to school, you can come to the service or whatever. Like, I remember like going to, I had no idea what was going on. How old? I'm in 5th grade.
5th grade, okay.
And then the next year, one of my best friends, her father passed away in like a traumatic accident. And again, and I still like, I remember then having maybe a little bit more better idea because of this 5th grade thing. And I remember being very sad because I had known her father and stuff, maybe a little bit more than maybe I'd known this other person. But it was just like, wait, they're just not, like, they're not here anymore.
Yep.
You have no
I
idea.
had a second grade teacher. Wasn't my second grade teacher. Died in a car accident with her and her husband.
Oh my god.
And that was a huge thing. And I don't remember it mainly because she wasn't my main teacher. It was like my friends, like
because you have like
they were
affected. Yeah. You have
so,
one teacher and you switch for like science or something, like one class. Yeah, when you're that young.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 homerooms or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
God.
So this is dark.
It is. Yeah. But I mean, it's so bizarre to think about. That young. You wish that you didn't have to like have anything like that happen. It's fucked up too. I guess maybe it was not a great pivot, but I was thinking about this the other day. I'm sure everybody has you have intrusive thoughts. Sometimes you think of really bad things. You have a nightmare or something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get these I don't know if this has ever happened to you. If you get a really bad nightmare or terrible thoughts.
I have a few reoccurring ones that I've had for years.
Where maybe someone that has like passed, and like the thoughts are so bad and so vivid that like you've gone through, like you've mourned this person that is totally healthy, has nothing bad, is like and God forbid, a terrible thing happened to them. They'll be fine for many years to come, and you've like already like gone through like the stages of like grief,
like you're imagining it.
Yeah, like you've already like gone, like I've been at your funeral already. Like that's so
I think
fucked up.
it's for a person that you're very close with, right? Or super tight with, and it's almost like you're panicking.
Yeah,
like it's like a panic, like, oh, I don't ever want to lose this person, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's in a dream.
Yeah,
I've never had that specifically. I have had, I think, any dreams that I've ever had where it's a person, it's always them doing something to me. Like I had a crush on a girl once, and I thought it was gonna be the end of the world. Like we're gonna be together forever.
Yeah.
And I had a dream one day, and I was walking on the beach, and she ran by and threw sand in my face. And I remember being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I told her about this, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, hey, I had a dream about you. And she's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I'm like, no, it wasn't that. It was much more sick.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand it. So that's like the interactions I ever had.
Did anything ever happen between you two?
Yeah. But then it was probably the first heartbreak I ever had.
Damn.
Yeah. It was an instance of, hey, I really like you a lot, and oh, by the way, I just had sex for the first time with my boyfriend the other day. It was so great. Can I talk to you about it? So it was kind of like full stop. Like
you were up here, you're like, oh yeah, I'm liking where this is going. Then just, whoa, what the fuck?
Does that happen to people or just me?
That's happened to people for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
That was young, grade school?
No,
high school?
that was not grade school.
It was high school.
Not high school.
Later than high school?
It's when I was like, what, 20?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I still had crushes when I was 20.
Damn.
Never grew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sucked.
Shit, yeah. I was about to relate it to this other
the
story.
The sucky part was still having to work with this person for like a year.
Fuck. Is that the worst job? What's the worst job you ever had?
Worst job I ever had. I worked at a steel foundry for 2 days.
2 days?
Yes. When they were training me, they make you stand next to the molten steel as it's coming out of the mold. And the guy training me, his pants started on fire from the radiated heat. So nothing actually touched him. It was just the radiated heat.
Yeah, the air around him was so hot
that his pants started on fire. And then that was day one. Day two, so day two, basically my job was to drive a gigantic forklift with a huge like ladle, and the ladle they would fill with the molten iron, and then you would drive over to the mold, and you would take this thing over the cab of your forklift, and you had to slowly dump it into this like mold that was like a trench. And if you poured it at the wrong rate, it would screw up the order, because the different temperatures, it had to be at a correct temperature in order for it to harden correctly. And so you had to do this slowly at a certain speed, and as you're lifting it up, you're turning it even more to keep up the flow even. Yeah. And I got maybe 2 hours of training. Like it was a 2-hour training class.
That's
on how to
way
do
too
this.
stressful, dog. You was
right. And the only thing actually between me and the molten steel was like this. They had this plexiglass like screen, and you're like, just close the screen, and everything happens. The steel will.
Damn.
burn through that screen and kill you.
Man, what are you guys making? What are you making in this forge? Weapons?
It was
big missiles.
just long. Oh god, that would have been so awesome.
There's a place that does that not that far from here.
Yes, this was in Woodstock.
Okay.
I don't know if I can name cities.
Yeah. No, you can name a city.
Okay.
Don't matter. But yeah, no, that's crazy.
United States.
So
It's where I live.
damn, dude. So how do you quit? Do you just be like, this ain't for me? Like,
Yep.
who do you say to? Do you like try to quit as like?
That was one where I just didn't show back up.
Okay.
I'm like, nope. I was making more money, and they make good money. Those people.
They should, because that
They do.
sounds terrifying.
But I'm like, it ain't worth it. So
Yeah.
that was the worst job I ever had.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I had. I've known some people who can. I'm too scared to be. Maybe I'm too big of a pussy to be that big of a, like, I can't not call and like.
I can't believe that you're a pussy.
I am though.
I only believe that you like it.
Maybe.
You don't? Maybe.
Oh, like being a pussy or
No,
like pussy? No,
like-
I love pussy.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Okay, perfect. I was worried.
No, no.
Don't love being a pussy.
I'm
You're not.
No, I like don't think like, even if I like hated a job, like I still have to, like, I'd have to put
So
my
you'd
2
still
weeks
give
in.
the 2 weekend?
I even though I don't like.
Do you believe in the 2 week?
No,
notice?
I think it's fucking stupid, and I think it's stupid because what would happen? You know what would happen? Let's say I go to work. Let's say I'm supposed to work tomorrow,
okay.
hypothetically, at one of the big
Are
major
you?
retailers. I'm not actually. I don't know why, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So let's pretend that I had a shift, and on the way to that shift, I crashed and am dying. I'm ripped in half, but I make one last call. I let my manager. Right.
I'm not going to make it in
I'm not
today.
gonna make it today. I'm most likely dead. I'm split in half right now.
Uh-huh.
I can see the lower half of my body is still trying to move.
Okay.
I'm dead. Okay. But I just want to
Yes.
let you know I'm not gonna make it in today.
Yep.
Probably not tomorrow either. Whatever. The first thing they would do is cross me off their grid and be like, fuck, who am I gonna get to pick up this fucking section? They don't give a fuck about you. And not specifically that person. It's just the way that like the structure is set up of these businesses. They're worried about what they got to get done for the day and making sure the sales are where the sales need to be. It's not they don't care about you.
I can tell you that is partially true. As a manager, one of the things that I had happen
That's
to me.
so sad. So sad.
No.
It's hilarious.
No, not. It's partially true. So one of my functions was to take call-ins, and some of the excuses that you got from people, like after a while, you'd figure out that they're straight up lying to my face.
Oh yeah.
I knew they were. But the first thing that actually happens is when you hang up the phone is normally we make fun of that person. I didn't do it at first because I had to be coached into it.
Yeah.
We would badmouth that person, judge their character sometimes, every time.
Sounds very
Yeah.
Wow,
So
awesome.
you're partially right, but that's actually what would happen first, and then we would cross you off.
So it's worse than what I thought.
Oh yeah.
Damn,
I wasn't.
fucking idiot
I wasn't
can't
trying
drive.
I
Who
wasn't
the
trying to
fuck
cheer
would
you
get
up
to
at
go?
all. I was sorry.
Jesus.
I was just giving you reality.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Oh, look at you.
So, wow, that's awesome. No,
Yeah.
yeah. This the 2 week thing. The reason I don't believe
I'm
in
sorry for misleading you.
it. No, that was great. Great
Okay.
misdirection. That was
Sorry.
that was perfect. The reason I don't believe in the 2 week shit is because if they wanted to fire you, like they're like, you're not working for us, or we need to lay people off, or
They
whatever.
don't have to give you a 2 week notice.
They're not giving you 2 weeks.
So
they don't care
that's-
that you have a family and that you have things to do, right? But I'm supposed to care that, oh, you need this. If in a retail store, you need my section pushed for another 2 weeks while you can find somebody. Fuck you. It should
Right.
just be. Now, granted, I'm not going to do that. If and when I do leave the job I'm at, I will put a 2 weeks in.
Okay.
But I'm saying I do think it's unfair that that's the way that the structure is set up, and that it was ever a norm. I don't think it should be a norm.
Okay.
Or if it is, they shouldn't be able to fire you without a 2
So
week
I'll
notice.
play devil's advocate here. So when a person doesn't give a 2 week notice, they just bounce out. So we make schedules, or places I've been, they make a schedule sometimes 2 and 3 weeks ahead of time.
Yes.
And I would argue, as the devil's advocate here, since I was in a cult, I have to advocate for the devil.
Yes. Yeah.
That when one person does that, they have to readjust everyone else's schedule, and it's basically one person is kind of throwing a wrench, and it affects other people because other people have to be asked or are asked to cover. So
I get that.
It does affect more than just the schedule they made.
And vice versa, them firing that person affects more than just that person. It affects their family, maybe the people that rely on them for money and income. And even, and let's say they had planned on being there for, you know, they're on, I see my name on the 2-week out schedule. They think they have a job. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? You're fucking done.
Right. I mean, it depends. I mean, why are you done though?
Yeah, that's fair also.
There's also a why.
I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously.
But also different industries. So, there are some industries, like the construction industry, like you can be let go on the spot for any reason.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I do when I worked at my other position that I just recently left because I didn't like it. I won't name the store. Another retail place. I worked with a guy who was in the construction business. He owned his own construction business, and he was telling me that the guy that he works with, who kind of works with the actual workers, because this in the construction industry, you can basically do anything you want.
Yeah.
He told me that he literally made people stand in the corner and say, "I'm sorry," over and over and over if they wanted to keep their job. So like maybe the guy showed up late. Maybe he consistently showed up late. He could have said, "Get the fuck off my job site."
Yeah.
But he basically said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make this guy, a grown man, stand in the corner and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," if he wanted to keep his job.
Damn.
And at the time he told me, I thought it was fucking hilarious. And it kind of is.
It is hilarious.
It's humorous, but it's like the things that people will do to other humans.
Yeah, and exploiting that because they need the money. You know, they have bills they need to pay.
And at the same time, though, the guy wasn't meeting the requirements. He wasn't showing up on time. Pretty easy thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's it goes both ways, I guess. I mean, if you want a job, you're accepting the responsibilities of that job when you sign on the dotted line.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I guess you could talk about that all day. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to though.
Yeah, no, it's kind of lame. I mean, it's lame that everybody's got to do it though, right? And like you said, you want to get paid, you got to play by those rules to get paid.
I mean, it's society that human beings have designed for themselves. So
yeah, it's not the greatest, but I was trying to think while we were getting into that about maybe my worst experience in retail. And I'm trying to think because obviously like
isn't it, is it?
No.
Interviewing your
No, absolutely not.
Thank
no.
God.
I'm trying to think of like a customer experience or because it's.
How about
I feel like it's pretty chill for the most part in retail compared. I used to bartend and serve and do other things that were kind of performative.
I think it can be very intense in different kind of retail environment. From what I understand, the grocery retail side is much more hardcore as far as like bad experiences. Because like I was saying before, I had a boss that owned her family owned a local grocery store chain, and she would say like, you know, on a holiday, if people don't get their turkey or whatever specific stuffing that they want, they get fucking pissed. Whereas it's kind of like, well, if they don't get their toy that year, you know, we see it as like, it's kind of like, it didn't happen. Some people get really pissed, but for the most part, if you're denying someone like that favorite meal somehow, then they get pissed.
Because we're pissy when we're hungry, dude. That's what it is.
Right. It's like,
that's why
I care more about food or getting my special yams that I need than I care about, you know.
Do you have this microwave in stock?
Yes.
Well, maybe you might care about that because
right.
That's kind of food related. So maybe something else.
Like I can't make
maybe a mop.
I can't make my microwave yams without a fucking microwave.
Yeah.
And then maybe I didn't get the microwave and I didn't get the yams.
Fuck, somebody gonna die.
Fuck.
Up front gonna hear.
I mean, you're gonna have to crack open a can of fucking yams.
Yeah, you're just gonna find some. I'm trying to think of a weird thing that's happened to me. I know once there was somebody that, I don't know what got into me that I was like, I'm gonna go above and beyond for this guest today. And they're like,
it's a mystery.
They were looking for a specific microwave, and that's what just reminded me of it. And it wasn't out on the floor, and it didn't say we had any. But for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? I get the optics of it. I'll just go check the back so you know that I'm checking, so you don't think I'm just some lazy kid being like, hey, we don't have it, get out of here. So I go to check the back, and I saw that we just gotten some microwaves in that were not yet located, and I'm like, oh, okay,
maybe
then
that's
maybe
why
so I dig through all these microwaves, I find the microwave, right? I go back out, person's not there.
That's his department.
The person's not.
I'm glad you found it.
The person's not there that wanted it. I'm like, okay. So I'm walking around this whole section. They could not have gone far. I said, stay right here. I was like, I'll be. If you want to, check out the next couple aisles, whatever. I'll come right back. It'll be like a couple minutes. I'm looking for them. I'm carrying this fucking microwave. Microwaves aren't that heavy, but they're also not light. So I'm carrying this microwave around for like
inconvenience.
5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. So I set the microwave down. 'Cause I'm like, this is some fucking. And
they wandered off or were kidnapped.
Right. So I end up going up front to be like, hey, did anybody come up? Because this person said that they were going to try to maybe order it online or whatever. Okay. I was like, maybe they were going to do that. They're like, no, nobody, whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go get the microwave because I just like set it on the shelf. And I was like, I'm going to go get the microwave and maybe I'll bring it up in case she does do that.
Okay.
So I go get it. I go to get it. It's not there.
Somebody stole your microwave. That person?
No, because then I find her. She comes back and she's like, so did you find anything in the back? You never came in. I was like, and she's like kind of frustrated with me.
Okay.
And I'm like, it was just, I did. I just got it.
Someone else.
You don't have it? Are you telling me you don't have? It was the only one on the shelf in the spot.
Do you have a twin?
Yeah. And she's like, no, I didn't. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And her cart's empty. And I'm like,
shit.
Fuck. And she's like, well, do you have any more? And I'm like,
I hope not.
I was like, we don't, and we didn't, and she was like, she was upset.
She was upset.
She was upset. Yeah.
Damn.
I did get 2 times where I helped somebody out over the phone, and they actually said they were going to leave a review. And I don't think either time they did, so that made me sad. But those were good experiences. It just made me sad that they didn't leave the review.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your experience.
Yeah. Doesn't that make you? That hurts,
It does hurt. I sometimes wonder when I say I'm going to go check in the back, like halfway there, I'll start to feel bad. Like, you know what? They're probably thinking that I just said that I was going to do something, and they're judging me right now. Like, I'm not actually going to go back there. Because there's been times where I'll go check in the back, and I'm like, I'm not fucking checking anything. I'm just going to take a few minutes, walk around the corner. Because I don't have time to do this, or I don't want to, because I know what's involved. Like, I'll have to go and get something out of the steel on the backside of unload. Like, I'm not no one fucking does that.
Here's the thing: there's just certain people, like, and there's a certain age bracket to not to be ageist, but there is maybe an older age bracket that refuses this as an answer when I go.
They have certain expectations that are many years old.
Yeah, we go. It's not here. And it's like, maybe we just had inventory. We just did. I know I work this section every day. I can promise you it's not here. It says we don't have any right here on my thing. I show them. They're like, oh, really? I can see them getting upset that I'm not putting in the. And I'm like, you know what, though? I'm going to check real quick for you. And I go do it anyway. I just walk back there. I go, okay. And I walk back and I go, yeah, it wasn't there. I'm sorry. I checked everywhere we had.
I can't count how many times I've done that. And most of it stems from I'll feel guilty. Like, I didn't meet their expectation. Like,
that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, like...
But it's the only way I can get them to also not yell at me and leave me alone.
Yes. What I'll find myself doing is, like, suggesting something else. Like, oh, no, we don't have that. But if you go over here... Or what I can also do is I can check another store for you. Like, I start throwing out as many options as possible. It's like... you
almost panic and become a better employee.
It's like an option... Yeah, well...
That's what happens. For real.
It's like an option.
My voice gets higher.
Yep. I start to care just more than I should.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that.
My uniform starts glowing.
It does.
I'm like, yeah, I have an aura.
I don't know. That's like a black hole of who knows why.
I kind of black out a little bit too, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't hit your head because I'll have to come clean you up.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy though.
Yeah.
You become a better team member, better employee.
Maybe. I don't want to be.
You're scared.
I feel like I'm really already the best at where I'm at. Like there's.
I think you are. I think
it's kind of like I feel guilty about that though, because like being really good at something shitty is It's like being the best at shitting. Like I can shit like no one else
Yeah.
can, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I just hover over the seat.
Yeah. So this, work in retail versus any other job I've had, because I mostly worked service jobs
Yes.
for smaller places, like
Okay.
more
Mom and pop.
Yeah. And, there, I won't say you're always rewarded for it, but a lot of times you are rewarded for being a good employee. Like the better you are, I feel like maybe because it's more personal, like the owners or your bosses.
I think you have to work for it for a long time to build yourself up at a bigger place.
Yeah.
Like I know for me, I have certain advantages that because of the position maybe that I was in, or I have advantages because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
That you become a go-to.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time. You have to put a lot of effort to become that person.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So like I never, like I just at every other job I'd have, I would. You'd get like somebody that was like a slacker or whatever, and they wouldn't last long, and you'd be like, man, fuck that. What kind of loser doesn't try like go above and beyond for their job? And then you work retail, and you're like, no, these guys are the smartest people here, and not because F the store
because
or whatever.
they can see it through.
They understand that they are there to collect a check, and that they're not getting paid. Somebody once told me, you do not get paid by the box. You get paid by the hour.
Yes.
Now, that's not a great way to work, and that's not saying that's what I do.
Sweet Jesus, I hope I didn't say that.
But no, you did not.
Oh,
No, you did
perfect.
not. You did it. But you see those people, and
Yes.
I don't have the balls to do what they do, but it does make you think sometimes when you're like, man, am I really going to check the back for this person when I know it's not fucking there? Or can I just be like, try to be more honest with them and be like, whatever?
So that's kind of like that phrase, I think it's a phrase or cliche or whatever, where your character is judged on what you do when no one's looking. And I remember things like that, and it's like, well, yeah, it's a shitty job, but it helps me to take pride when I know no one else is looking. Like I feel pride when I do something. It's a right and wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If they're nice, I'll tell you this, if it's a kid and I'm working in a toys section, my heart starts to melt. I have to go.
I do kind of judge it based on what it is, who it is. Unfortunately, we all make those judgments.
Yeah.
I would think in maybe like the electronics department, it would be a little more cut and dry, because I look at that as like nobody needs anything from this. This is all first world privilege items.
Yeah.
No one has a great need for a Roku. Okay.
Gotta get my shows, man.
Well, yeah, like shows. Like, do they watch shows in like sub-Saharan Africa?
Maybe.
Did they know what a show is?
I'm sure somebody's putting them on somewhere.
Maybe. They have like a transistor radio.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll judge it from that standpoint. If it's someone like, hey, I'm trying to feed my kids, I need that last bottle of formula. I really need it. I'll be like, okay, I'll put some extra effort in.
Yeah.
But then I start thinking the devil on the shoulder thing. I'll start thinking, well, are they just trying to sell that formula? Because I know that there's
that's pretty fucked up that people were doing that. I'm not
right.
gonna lie.
They still do it.
Yeah, that's
right.
disgusting.
So
those people should die.
I never made any money doing
in
it.
a video game.
But to the people who are successful at it, then it just makes me think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I guess what I was getting at is I used to like I still think I am obviously I work hard. I try to get my job done, whatever job I'm doing. I try to do it to the ability that I can do it.
I've noticed.
Right, but I just don't. I know. I used to like dislike. Like I used to have like a dislike for other people at the same jobs as me that I could tell weren't trying as hard.
Yes. And
I've understood now that like, no, I get I don't have the balls to do what you do, but I respect it. I respect that you can do that and be okay with that, because
they have a no shits, don't care, don't give us attitude. And I sometimes wonder, it kind of comes down to what are you willing to put up with, and what are you willing to deal with as a consequence of your action. And I think some people are just willing to put up with more.
Yeah.
Like if I get fired from this job and I don't have anything else, am I willing to do that?
Yeah.
You know, some people are more, and maybe I'm just a coward in that way where I'm like, I can't let the little world I've built for myself be affected by me just deciding to not care one day.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I don't know if that's a character flaw or if it's just.
I'm scared of getting yelled at. That's what it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I'm scared of getting yelled at.
I kind of enjoy getting yelled at because it doesn't happen very often.
Really?
Yeah. Depends on who's yelling. Because sometimes getting yelled at is an opportunity to like play in your brain all the instances where you've seen that person kind of slack, which I've been in that position.
Yeah.
And then it just riles me up, you know. Like,
you can't bottle that up because then they're gonna say something and then you're gonna snap and then all of a sudden you're fighting in the in the paper section using fucking paper towel rolls as chairs.
Oh, I would live.
Or in the chair section using chairs as chairs. That would be bad.
As chairs. That would probably be not as much happening after that. Like you wouldn't be working there as long.
No.
I feel like I could use the excuse that, well, we had paper towel. It was kind of like Nerf war.
Yeah.
Like
I wish they would let us do that. Like I know they can't because these big stores are open 7 days a week, but it would be great if they could just close it down one day and just let us like
do whatever,
defect a bunch of Nerf guns and just like play.
I actually have asked that.
Or those hoverboards, the 2-wheel things.
Yep.
And we just do laps. And we just do like a team race. That would be so fun.
I seriously approached my boss once, way back in the day, and asked, would it be okay if we had laser tag after the store closed?
That'd be so sick, dude.
I was so convinced that I might get a yes to that question that I didn't realize how stupid that question was.
Yeah, you had to be
liability, all that. I've also asked to have a backroom Olympics.
You said that? I've been
did.
thinking that for so long.
We could have a bail making contest.
Oh yeah.
We can have a who can clear the line the fastest, who can load like a flat
you
the
could
quickest.
do. So for people that don't know, like a line when you unload trucks, right? If you've never unloaded a truck, you've never worked retail, it's like a bunch of just spinny metal things and you're pushing boxes over them, and it's like a conveyor belt thing, right? I think it would be cool for like a shot put. This would be like our shot put, right? You have like, everybody use the same box. Who can get the box down the furthest? One push, one solid push.
Yep.
That'd be sick. Or the back room, the lights, they don't turn on in the aisle until you cross.
Who can get the farthest before the lights turn on?
Yeah.
Oh, I have had that fantasy.
I have thought about it.
I've gotten worried a few times where I've been down an aisle and the lights haven't come on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I not? How can this thing not be sensing me?
Yeah.
I'm not that important.
It doesn't view you as a human being.
I know. Fuck that light. Fuck that sensor. Anyway, but yes, so I did have a contest once before I was a manager and I was just like bored out of my mind. And so if you clear a path from the baler all the way down to the fire door, I don't know how long that is, but it's like maybe 100 yards.
Considerable, yeah.
Yeah. So we would take bike tires and see who could roll them down the aisle and get as close to the baler as possible. And I am happy to report that I actually did get one, not the baler, the compactor. I did get one to bounce next to the compactor.
So you got pretty close. That's pretty crazy.
Yes. I don't know how many attempts it took. I don't know how much lost productivity it was. It was considerable.
But so you were talking 1%ers earlier. That's you.
I know.
That's pretty impressive.
If I could find a position of rolling tires,
that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
So I guess this will be the last thing I'll ask you retail wise.
Okay.
Has there ever been an instance you're talking about like the why people get fired, you know? So sometimes people deserve it, right? What's like the funniest thing, either you seeing somebody get fired, like somebody get fired for, or somebody like quit, like leave? Like has there ever been like a big
brouhaha,
like a big thing where somebody quits or does some ridiculous shit where you're just like, that's hilarious?
I think I haven't witnessed any like off the wall shit like that, but I think the dumbest reason that I saw someone get fired was a bomb threat.
Oh, they threatened a bomb?
Yeah. And it was only funny. How does one put this?
How did they say it?
I don't know. This is a story that was relayed to me. I wasn't there, but it occurs to me that it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. So the bomb threat was made by a person of a specific type.
Is this a race thing? 'Cause that'll
No,
be fucked
not
up.
race.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
No.
No. Oh my God.
It has nothing to do with race. It has more to do with this person was disabled. It was a disabled person.
And they threatened to bring a bomb?
Right. So you had to wrap your head around the fact that they probably don't know how to make a bomb because bombs are complicated.
You can Google.
Yeah,
pipe bomb is not
you
that
have to
bad,
know
I
how
thought.
to turn on a computer.
Jesus. Okay.
Right. You know where I'm going with that?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
So I
they
always
fired this person for this?
Yes.
What did you hear? How the person threatened it? Were they just like, "Hey, I'm going to do this," or was it they were? It
was like Milton from The Office. Like, I'm gonna burn the building down.
Yeah. So they were getting threat. Were they like in trouble, and then they said, "I'm gonna do this" because of this?
I think it was like they were frustrated with things, and so they just said it, like thinking there would be no consequence. Because obviously, a bomb threat you always have to take seriously.
Damn.
But the irony of taking it seriously from someone that you know
probably
can't actually have, even access just to materials.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
but good on them for taking it that serious, I guess.
I guess so.
One time they should, whatever training they put them through, they should put some teachers that I had through, because one time I did tell a teacher I was going to bring a bomb to school, and they did nothing about it. And it was a joke, but it was a dark joke.
And they didn't get it.
No, they looked at me and looked scared, looked frightened.
Oh, okay.
And I was kidding.
Mm-hmm. So basically,
and they never did anything.
You were so terrifying to them that they were forced to take it seriously.
If they would have just let me go to the bathroom, I would have never said it.
Oh, okay, I get it.
It was just like
they were restricting your bowel.
I just had to piss. I drank a lot.
I pissed my pants in school.
I drank a lot of water. I'm not gonna do that shit in high school.
Oh, high school?
No,
this is like grade school.
No, what kind of grade schoolers are throwing out bomb threats?
I hope none.
I hope none.
Nowadays,
also.
You never know.
Hopefully they're not watching this.
If I was in high school, though, I would have just left. Like, I would have got up and walked out. And
okay, bro, this ain't.
Did you go to like a military school?
We didn't have fucking dinosaurs back when I went to high school, so there were rules.
Yeah.
There were fucking rules, bro. They closed that door. They locked that shit.
Oh, they locked the door?
This is the bullshit. I explained it kind of a little bit.
You were locked into your room?
A little bit last week, but it was such bullshit. So, like, we had a 5-minute passing period, and this teacher was on the opposite side of the school from me. So I would get there. It wasn't super far, but it was far enough where it would take a while. So I would get there as quickly as I could within like the first 2 minutes of passing period. Okay. I'd set my stuff down. I'd be like, "Hey, I'm running the bathroom," just so you know, because they would always try to say this shit like, you can't ask right at the beginning of the bell because class just started. You should have went during passing period, but you also can't show up late. So I'm like, okay, so if I show up like 40 seconds late, like, you will let me into class because I'm going now.
Was this like a bank vault door that couldn't be opened?
Like the newer school doors are all like, they're like steel, whatever, they lock because of fucking
killing.
We got an issue with that. So I would do that, and I would say it to her, and most of the time I wouldn't. Half the time she'd be okay with it. Half the time she would be like, "You better make it back before the bell." And one time she literally is trying to close the door. She sees me. I'm 2 feet away, and I stop her from closing the door.
Like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and get it. I'm like having to push the door as she's and I'm like, I'm fucking here, and I get in, and she's like still going on about this thing.
You got in,
and I'm like, and she's like saying something I don't know what the fuck she said. I just remember I said, I was like, "I'm bringing him tomorrow," and she just looked at me like.
I bet if you said, "I'm bringing a bedpan tomorrow," she wouldn't have reacted as much, because then you wouldn't even have to leave to pee.
I guess.
But if you did piss and poop,
you know what I should have done to prove a point?
What?
I should have brought a catheter.
A catheter, okay, that would have proved it. I can install a catheter, by the way.
No, catheters actually terrify me. I've never. My girlfriend is a nurse.
Okay.
And so she tells me, for whatever reason, she decides to tell me all the stories involving catheters, and they fucking if you start explaining to me something that goes wrong with this, or even it going right, my whole body feels
you
wrong.
get that pit feeling.
Yeah.
My sister is a nurse too. She told me some stories.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not good at all. How do you know how to put in a catheter?
I would to school, my college stuff. I went to school to be a surgical scrub for a period of time.
Have you seen the show Scrubs?
Yes.
I haven't, but my parents
saw a
used to
few
watch
episodes. It was one of those things where like everyone like when you were in class for that, like there would be like memes from it, like posted or just like.
So memes did come out.
Yeah, this wasn't
Sooner
that long
rather-
ago.
okay,
This
yeah,
has been
yeah.
like 2015.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Damn. So you mentioned
Mhm.
before we went live
Yes.
that you had something to give me.
Oh yes.
We are kind of getting to that point where we're gonna be. What's going on?
I'm
What do
pretty
you have?
excited to give this to you.
I'm very nervous. that
I
it's-
heard that you're supposed to give gifts, and celebrities will give like extravagant gifts,
Oh wow.
right?
Yeah, you didn't have to do anything crazy. There's not a new car waiting outside, is there?
No, I'm not a celebrity,
Oh.
and I have no money. So this was actually it was free.
This is free.
So sometimes I don't know if you've experienced this, but in where I work, there's a break room, and they'll put rancid food and things. For people to consume because
yeah, usually. Yeah.
I think because they feel sorry for us.
Yeah.
So I got you
Oh God.
a bottle of Chipotle ranch dressing.
Look at that. Look at that.
It almost, if you squint
Wow.
really hard, it looks like some kind of fancy liquor.
Yeah. No,
But
this is great.
I
This
don't know
is
how expired it actually. It might
Mark-
not actually be expired.
Market Pantry.
Yes.
That's goated right there. Wow.
Pantry is a great word.
Yes.
It denotes like the food pantry, like you're poor. Anyway, can I actually see it?
This expires October of this year.
Oh, it is
So
almost
it's-
expired.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's wow. This has been on a shelf for a long time because
I don't know if it ever actually made it to the shelf. I've never seen
discontinued. Maybe
it.
recalled.
I think it maybe it arrived and just,
Recall.
hopefully it's not recalled.
I'm gonna use this.
I'm not sure if that's the color it originally was either. Like that's a baby shirt.
It is kind of a. I mean, maybe it's hard to tell with the lighting in here, but it
Yeah.
is. I
It-
mean, it's close enough.
It does
to Chipotle
look like something that
ranch.
should be in like the veins of a crazy monster, like blood.
Yeah,
Oh.
dressings usually last quite a while. So I imagine if this
It's never been opened.
yeah,
It is sealed.
but that's what I'm saying. So imagine how long this was on a shelf for. 'Cause usually, like if I were to stock a brand new one today, it would probably say like 2027.
Well, is there dust on the top? It looks pretty dust free.
It does.
It was in my pocket for this whole time, so it's probably kind of warm.
It is a little warm.
I wouldn't recommend using it on a salad
yeah,
today.
Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should put this
Yeah.
in the fridge before I put it on anything.
possible.
Wow, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
That is amazing.
I thought you would enjoy it.
that is great. That is
Actually,
fantastic.
that's a lie. There was no thought whatsoever put into that,
Yeah.
other than I got a bunch of stuff from the break room. And that's the only thing I felt okay giving up.
Wow, thank you. It's crazy. There are hyenas in break rooms.
There are.
They're fucking. They drop any crumb in there, and people are fucking going for that.
I'm
shit.
sorry to say that I am one of those hyenas.
What
Because
are
I
they-
have like 15 cans of diced tomatoes that I picked up too, and some jalapeno mac and cheese.
Wow.
2 bags of coffee, whole bean.
Yeah.
And it's the good coffee that I
They'll
want.
take anything. I mean,
Yes.
they're one.
You know what they didn't take? They didn't take that box of cereal from Christmas last year.
Oh yeah, those are.
Do you
still
remember
there.
that?
Yeah, those are still there.
You know the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. They
Selective hyenas.
there was this time. So I think 13 weeks ago ish, 14 weeks ago was the 3-year anniversary of this show. So we had
congratulations.
done. I got like a cake and stuff when I put the logo on during the show. Whatever, we did a thing, and
I would eat cake right now if I had some.
I brought the cake in the next day.
Oh.
In the break room, and I like jokingly, I didn't think anybody was gonna like actually like check anything out, but I wrote on there, I was like, oh, celebrate the 3-year detail. I was like, you can look it up right here, and then you can have a piece of cake.
Okay.
And I come back like 2 hours later, and someone's eating the last piece of cake, and I go to check my phone to see, oh man, we probably got a couple subscribers that didn't, not fucking one, bro.
Not
But they
one?
all ate that fucking cake. And I was-
I'm pretty sure that I didn't eat any of that cake.
it was hilarious. I got a good laugh out of it, so it was worth it. But it was fucking hilarious. And then another time there were these expired Annie's organic, the Annie's brand, the bunnies. They were cheddar bunnies,
Okay, yes.
and I actually just finished eating them recently.
I've never had the Annies, but I know which ones
They're
you're talking
fine.
about.
Yeah, I heard that they give you cancer. Apparently, somebody told me.
Oh,
But they were in there along
Bad-
with a bunch of other
bad
things.
bunnies.
And I watched these people, a whole 3-tier, so 3-level cart for people that don't
Mhm.
know, comes in of all different things, and it was fucking wiped out in
Mhm.
minutes.
You know what I always thought was funny is when we put 3 tiers of like water. Like you can get water anywhere. You can get water literally out of the fountain,
Yeah.
which isn't really a fountain anymore, and that would go like instantly.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a water shortage somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I get that. I understand it, but I'm also guilty of being one of those hyenas.
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
I do have cans of stuff that I still haven't opened from like probably years ago.
The thing is though too, they really are hyenas in every stretch of the word, because there's also been a fuck ton of seeds for people to grow their own vegetables sitting in there.
I'm a seed fiend.
Okay, you're the only one that's taking them, because nobody else giving a fuck about those.
Really?
They just been chilling. They got the thing out
of there. I think
it's
because there's work required at the end of the day when it comes to seeds. Like you got to plant them and you got to water them.
Yeah.
And then
I thought about grabbing some.
I have a stack like that high of seeds that I'll probably never use.
Yeah.
But I can say that
you got them.
If the end of the world comes, I can grow my own vegetables. I won't have to worry about like
Well, you'll have the seeds to do it.
Right.
I don't know if you.
So a seed bank. Did you know there actually is a seed bank? It's in like Norway
like a sperm
or something.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not like a sperm bank, but it's kind of like a sperm bank.
Seed,
Yeah. Except that I think they're like the seeds that they're already fertilized, right?
Yeah, I think so.
How that works?
I don't know.
I don't know
put
much
water
about
on it and then it
seeds.
grows. That's all I know.
Yes. Like if you put water on sperm, it just makes it less gooey.
I've never done that specifically.
I haven't either, but I like to think
that's
like,
probably what. Yeah, just
dilutes it so it's not like pancake mix.
Yeah, you're just like pancake mix. That's fucking wild.
No, I've seen. I hope not. I haven't
That's-
seen pancake mix in a long time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's hilarious. So we are actually at
Chocolate chip.
we are a little over an hour and a half.
Oh, sorry.
What do you have any questions for me before we end up wrapping, Matt?
No.
Any thoughts you want to share with the people? Any topics of discussion you want to touch on before we wrap?
No, I hope I only hope that it was as crazy enough for you as I said it was gonna be.
We got some good stuff on
I
here.
feel like I restrained maybe a little bit.
What's something you need to let go before we wrap?
I wanted to acknowledge Sal more.
Mm-hmm.
Sal's over there.
Yeah, Salvador's behind the camera.
Yep, Salvador.
He is there. He's not.
That's
show
the
himself,
first time
yeah.
I've ever called him Salvador. I don't use his real name.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
I like it better calling him other things.
Oh, that's fair.
Salbert. Salium is one of my favorites.
Salium.
That's a combination of Sal and William.
Mm.
No, I just want to acknowledge Sal.
He's here.
Yes,
He's
I
doing his thing.
appreciate his salness.
Mm.
As much as
we all do. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He's a special human being.
He really is.
I believe he is.
Yeah. You gonna say hello, so they can hear your voice? Just say something so people can know your voice.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
He's so nervous
Wow.
saying hello.
You're not nervous.
Oh, that was good.
Anyway.
No, yeah, I appreciate you being on. Was this your first time being on a podcast?
Yes.
Wow,
I've
look
never
at
done
that.
this before.
Look at that.
But I did wear the sunglasses so the lights wouldn't be in my eyes.
Yeah, it can be a lot if you're looking right.
Well,
at
I
it.
don't want people to see the circles under my eyes because I don't sleep. So.
Oh yeah, you should get some sleep.
I
You
should.
snuggle up with Petunia and
She'd put me to sleep.
yeah. You should get a hamster ball.
A
And
hamster ball?
so you could sleep with her. Like put her in a ball,
Oh.
and then you could.
I thought there was like some sort of thing about hamster balls. I didn't know.
No. It'd just be cool because then you could like bring her places.
I could walk her. Well,
That
they
would be
don't-
hilarious.
if I
dude.
walked her.
Yeah,
I almost
would
bought
be
a T-shirt of a guy walking a tarantula.
I would be so scared of somebody doing that.
Yeah.
Like instantly terrified.
Like
of
if it was
what
a
they're capable
giant
of.
tarantula.
Yeah.
Smaller one probably.
Like
would
you were
just be
talking
weird.
before about people not capable of committing acts of violence with bombs. That's
Yes.
somebody that could.
Probably.
If they were walking a tarantula.
Probably.
They're capable of it.
They've
thought of it.
I think someone like that is probably bomb proof.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
On
Like,
some level.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's terrifying. But I thank you for being here today, Matt. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in live. Thank you to those listening days after over on Spotify and YouTube. I also want to say a quick shout out to our patrons. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, getting access to behind the scenes content, including extra episodes, a series where I break down how I make every single one of my songs, and behind the scenes footage of our wrestling vlogs, the hooping videos, all that good stuff. Go to our patreon.com/Darren Rita, and you can help support the channel for as little as $1. Also, I want to say a quick shout out to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring another episode of the podcast. And this has been the 168th episode of the podcast. I will see you guys next week. Peace.
Wow.